have to try what I'm gonna show you today, especially if you got back pain, you got disc pain, or you got sciatica. I'm Dr. Matthew Posa. Welcome to my page. My page is dedicated to people and families with health tips and tricks so you can live the life you were designed to live. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this information with the people we know need it the most. One of the things that most people overlook is something called a lower cross syndrome. And what this is that there are two muscles in your back that are too tight, and there are two muscles in your back that are not strong enough. And it's the fight between them that's creating this lower cross syndrome that is creating not only shearing effects on the spine, so it's pushing and pulling, and it's damaging the disc, it's damaging your joints, it's prematurely aging your spine. But because of this, and every time you're sitting and any time that you're moving, it's actually getting worse. So what we're gonna work on today is I'm gonna show you the things that you can try at home today in order to start correcting this, and more importantly, put you on the right path to healing. When it comes to the lower cross syndrome, pretty much there's two muscles that we know are mostly weak. They're not strong on most people. And the first one's gonna be the abdominal muscles, and the other one is gonna be the glute muscles. So lower cross syndrome being weak in the front, so that would be your abdominal muscles, and weak in your glutes. And then vice versa from that, the over tight muscles are gonna be in the front, and it actually attaches to your spine, which is gonna be your hip flexor muscles, your iliopsoas muscle, and in the back, the way too tight muscles, and you'll see them on most people when they lie down on the table in the office here, or if they're at home, if they take off their shirt, you'll generally see on either side of the spine, you can see there are two bulging muscles on either side of the spine, especially in the low back. So those are the erector spinae, and those muscles are too tight. So let's go through exactly what you could do at home, not only to strengthen the two muscles that we need to, which is your glute and your abdominals, but then to relax the other two muscles. Let's get to it. So the first muscle that we're gonna focus on is the one that is the most underactive muscles today. And it usually has to do with sitting, that being the primary cause. And the other one is just that the daily activity levels have decreased significantly. So what we wanna do is stimulate the glute. And this is just a hold type of exercise, so it doesn't really matter on your age. Generally, most people can do this. But what we're doing is we're squeezing our glutes. So this is a glute bridge exercise. And primarily all you're gonna do is you're gonna lay down on the ground. You're gonna splay your feet about shoulder width apart. Your hands are gonna come down by your side. Bring your head back. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna lift. So from your pelvis, you're gonna be lifting your bum off the ground. So you gotta contract your glutes and you gotta contract your legs. And what you're gonna do is you're pushing up through your heels. So you should push not through your toes, through your heels, hold that for about 10 seconds. And then you're gonna bring it slowly down, rest that for maybe about a second, not long. And then you're right back up, holding that for again, a couple seconds. You need to focus on squeezing your bum. Squeeze the bum. If you want the quarter trick, put a quarter in between those ass cheeks and just hold that there so it doesn't fall. You're gonna bring it back up. Again, you're gonna be repeating that 10 times in order to get the activation that we're looking for. And you can repeat that 3 different times. So you're doing 10, 10, and then 10 with about a 1-minute break in between. This is a glute muscle. This is a muscle that you're supposed to be using a lot, so this should not tire you as much. The next muscle that you wanna focus on strengthening is gonna be your transversus abdominis. So when we're talking about transverse, there's a few different muscles in your core that are great for stabilizing and all that kind of stuff, but the biggest one and probably the most important one is something called the transversus abdominis. This muscle acts as a corset. So it'll stabilize your spine, it'll keep things a lot healthier, a lot stronger, especially in the future. So this is something that you're gonna wanna do for at least the next 2 weeks. And this is an easy exercise. It's called the dead bug exercise. And all you're gonna do is as you lay down on your back, you're gonna bring both your legs up like this, arms are up like this. So you're staying on your back. Now you're gonna contract your core. So if I'm pushing on my stomach, I shouldn't be able to go far. I'm not pushing in, I'm resisting against that. So I'm holding my core, I'm breathing as I do this. And all you're gonna do is one arm and one hand at a time, but opposites. So I'll start with my left knee, will come down. As my left knee comes down, my right arm comes back. I'm holding that position, making sure that my pelvis is not swaying in any way possible. And then I bring it back and I switch to the other side, bring it back, and I'm doing 10 of these, so 5 on each side. And then I can rest, give myself a break, and repeat 3 different. So you're doing 3 sets of that. So 3 sets of the dead bug exercise. So the first 2 exercises were muscle activation and strengthening. So we did the glutes, and then we also worked on the transversus abdominis through the dead bug exercise. But the next 2 that we're gonna wanna do now is to release. We're gonna wanna stretch. And the first one's gonna be your hip flexor. So in doing the hip flexor, you're gonna put one knee down. The other foot is gonna go quite a bit in front of you. Make sure, if you put your foot directly underneath your knee and we're coming forward, you're just gonna feel a lot of knee pain. To avoid that, it's quite simple. You're gonna stretch it out quite a far ways ahead. And all you're gonna do is bring yourself forward. And now your knees should never even pass your toes. And that's really a good way to do any type of exercises, whether it's squats, stuff like that. Just make sure your knees never pass your toes. If you really want a new knee in the future, well, that's a good way to do it, I guess. But, we're trying to avoid this type of stuff. And all you're gonna do is bring yourself down. So I'm lunging forward, and then I'm taking the arm on that same side, and I'm coming over. So I'm stretching out the front. I'm holding this for 15 seconds, 10 seconds, that's all you can take. And you're gonna hold this. Again, I'm making sure that my torso is actually what's coming forward. I'll do this from the side so you can see this a little bit easier. But as my foot is quite forward as I come down, so I'm stretching through here, but I'm making sure that my pelvis is coming forward. I'm not rounding my shoulders, so my chest is up. I'm pushing through here. I'm coming down that way, and then I'm arching the other way. So I'm never losing that. I'm holding that, like I said, 10 to 15 seconds. Go by what you're comfortable with, and then you can release. And that you could do as many times as you want, but that is the stretch. And then you will repeat that on the other side in order to get the relief that you're looking for. So the last exercise, or the last stretch, we're gonna do is for the low back, those erector spinae. And so all you're gonna do is you're gonna spray out your knees. You're gonna be sitting almost back from your bum onto your heels. So you should almost feel that. But all you're doing is reaching in front. So you can reach with your hands. So if this is all you can do, if this is your position, then you can hold that and just focus on bringing your bum down. So that way you're getting a stretch in the low back. But if you want to, and if you could keep going, the whole goal here is that we're getting a deep stretch everywhere in the spine. You want to bring this down and flatten that back. Again, you're pushing your weight back onto your heels as you're stretching with your hands. And you're gonna only hold that for about 10 to 15 seconds. So you're not overdoing it. If you get a strain with that, then obviously stop. Like, don't repeat that if you get a strain. But those are the simple steps that you can do in order to get relief. I hope you learned something new today. That low back problems that can lead to disc issues, lead to sciatica, lead to low back pain, chronic low back pain, and a bunch of other conditions. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of different reasons why people have back pain. There's a lot of different reasons why people are suffering. There's a lot of different conditions out there. But there are certain things that we know for the vast majority of the population that are true. And the biggest thing is the 2 muscles that are not working, which again are going to be your abdominal muscles and your glute muscles. And then on the flip side of things, it's the muscles that are constantly being used that are too tight, too tired. And those are going to be your hip flexor muscles or your iliopsoas, and the other one is going to be your low back muscles. And so when I look at the spine, that lower cross syndrome is that constant shearing between what's pulling in the front, what's pulling in the back, and that's the problem that we're facing. So if you're trying this exercise and you're trying the 2 stretches and the 2 strengthening, you should see results, especially within 2 weeks. You're not gonna see it right away. It's not one of those things that you're gonna do it today and then you're gonna notice it tomorrow. It's by far gonna be something that's gonna be more resembling. I'm seeing a little bit of increase and change. You're gonna get a little bit sore, especially if you're working the glutes. It's been a little while, so you're gonna feel that, but then you know it's working. Thank you for watching the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click on the bell button so that way you can get reminders of when the next video is dropped. If you have comments or questions, you can leave it down below. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.